Welcome to the show, folks. Hey, welcome. So glad you are here. If you don't know me yet, hey, my name is Mike Asherbranner, professionally known as the Redneck Connector, and proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. And you are tuning in to Mike King Biz Radio on ESPN 106.1 FM. Boy, we got a special treat today. I say that every week because it's true, dadgummit, every week, right? So we all know that great leaders just don't manage people, folks. They transform them, right? So, in today's hybrid, high pressure world, even the best hit roadblocks, we're talking burnout, self doubt, all the words, resistance to change, or just feeling left behind like technology like AI, right? If you're in your 40s or up, redneck company included. So that's where our special guest today and fellow hound, Michele Smith, she comes into play because she's a seasoned executive coach, all right, leadership strategist, and founder of Better Possibilities. Folks, she spent 2 decades guiding high-achieving leaders through the crossroads of mindset and strategy. All right, her work blends hypnotherapy, lean thinking, and AI-based support. So she's got you covered. And we're going to help leaders. Today, we're going to discuss it. She helps leaders really clear that invisible barrier that keeps them from showing up with clarity, confidence, and impact. Bottom line, right? We want to get more, we can do more. So I'm going to stop talking, run the intro, and we'll bring this amazing lady up. What'd you say? Sounds good? Let's do it.
Looks like your business might be in a bit of a pickle. Don't you worry about a thing. You ain't alone in this. You're just a success story waiting to happen. Trust me on that. Every bump in the road is just an opportunity wearing a clever disguise. Welcome to the Hounds of Business community, where we don't just sit around twiddling our thumbs. Nope. We turn those obstacles into mighty fine stepping stones. This here's a place where high-level entrepreneurs and sharp professionals gather to grow their businesses and mindsets, kind of like how a good old gumbo needs the right ingredients to be something special. Ideas thrive here, and collaborations, well, they're as natural as sweet tea on a hot day. Success, it's a journey, and we're fixing to walk that road right beside you. Now, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn for all the latest tips and insights. We're talking about the kind of wisdom that'll keep you ahead of the game. And while you're at it, head on over to our YouTube channel. We've got ourselves a treasure trove of videos, from expert interviews to webinars, everything you need to stay sharp in this fast-moving world of business. The Hounds of Business community? Well, we ain't just a network, we're a movement. So why not come on and be part of something bigger? Join us today and let's turn your business journey into a real Southern success story. Together, we'll achieve greatness, just like crawfish and singing on a Friday night.
All right, folks, let's bring this lady up. She probably does know about crawfish and singing on a Friday night. Let's ask her. Let's find out. Welcome, everybody. Michele Smith. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing awesome. And I do freaking love crawfish. I mean, they're like little mini lobsters. Who doesn't love them?
Yeah, real quick. I went to the country, obviously the deep, like farmer. You don't know where it's on a map. And there was a 20-gallon bucket of crawfish, or cooler. Somehow they pulled out 120 gallons, like a clown car. It was just amazing. I said, wait a minute, it didn't move. It was just only in the country, folks. All right. So I appreciate you. We have our friends in the audience already. We got April Wyatt. Everybody should know her by now, right? We got Homer, folks piling in, and folks on the radio. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you. And we want to bring people who are real, who've been there and done that. And, folks that we hire because they failed more times than we tried, right? They drove off the cliff and they're here to help us not do it. Woo, I'm feeling it now. So thank you for being here, because you are that super pro, right? You've been there, right? You didn't just come out and know everything.
I've been there a few times. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm back again. I think part of it too, it's so funny because I had Christy Stefano and April Wyatt on a podcast that I recorded recently. And we were talking about all the stuff that we're talking about here, the change people go through, the frustration it can be. And it is not this one and done. Mike, you and I were talking before you hit record. And what Chris commented on, he said, because people can get frustrated when they're doing it again and again. He's like, that it's not that we're doing it 1,000 times and we're frustrated. He said, you're 1,000 steps forward. So that's the thing. It's all about perspective. And are you acknowledging the progress that you've made? And so I'm not running the same tape, but I'm intentionally doing something different.
I've heard that. I've heard it from April Wyatt and you, and gosh, it was just like throwing a ball against the wall. It just couldn't penetrate. But here's what you're dead on. As I did it anyway, over and over, discipline, disbelief. Guess what? It started changing. It really did. And I didn't even notice it. Right. And so we're going to get into it. I ain't going to spoil it all. But folks out there, and Michelle, you work with leaders of all levels. This is why I love this, because you can help somebody, from federal agencies to entrepreneurs. Right. But here's where I want to start. What was the moment that you realized that mindset wasn't just a personal thing? It was the missing link also in business strategy. When did you tie them together?
It's an interesting thing. I'll go back, and I don't know if it's freaking a moment, Mike. I think it's this accumulation of stuff. There was a quote I ran across. God, and now I can't remember who it was. Anyway, thoughts become things. And so, in fact, I just had a client this morning that we were coaching and talking about stuff, is that if you have leaders together and they believe, and the language is saying it's not possible, there's no way we can get there, stuff's not going to happen. And you think about business strategy, and that's the mindset, and that's the language that you're using of, we can't do this thing. You're absolutely right. Because what happens is you literally build walls in your mind to where the thing that will get you through, the strategy that will get you to where you want to go, you can't see it because there's a wall there. When we start to shift that language to how can we? How is this possible? Then all of a sudden, there's no wall in front of you. Your brain is out there doing exploration about all the different things that make it possible. So you're not dreading moving forward. You're excited about it, about the possibility of something being different. And it's that freaking simple.
It is. Oh, I got to ask you now, because, I just went through this like a caterpillar, y'all. Seriously. It sucked at the moment, but boy, I'm glad I did. So when we talk about self-belief, because I'm going to say it, because most people are better hiding it than I am. And I like to get it out there. But self-belief to me felt like a delusion. Like, who am I? I had very little self-worth, self-belief at it, and that, like you said, how can you go out there and talk with confidence and bring it out if you don't believe you're bleeding cells right off the bat? So what is the role of self-belief, and how important is it to do the hard inner work and have that realist, dialogue, get healthy inside? And what kind of impact have you seen? Because people hear me say it, but you're the queen, right? And what kind of impact can we expect for that to have on our business, our goals, our life in general?
I'll give you a couple of, let me back up a minute. Number one, I'm going to say this. It is simple. It's not easy, right? Amen. It's simple. It's not easy. So it's not overcomplicated. So here's the simple part. I had a client that the language that she was using was overwhelmed. And I'm sure, show of hands, anyone listening can go, okay, I felt that way. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. Pick it. Whatever the thing is that doesn't move you forward, that anchors you in. So I heard it in a matter of 6 times the first time we met. I'm overwhelmed. I said, what is this overwhelmed? What's going on? She goes, well, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I said, great. So what is happening? So this is the thing, Mike. We have to look to when we've labeled what it is. Go, okay, what's actually happening in my external world that I'm labeling it this way? For her, it was a new job, and I'm sure any number of us have related to this. Maybe you're stepping in with imposter syndrome, fear, right? Is that you're doing a role that you've never done before, which, oh, by the way, there's no human on the planet that has done what they're about to do before. It's all different, right? So there's new and different things. And I said, so are you open to changing the language that you're using to describe what you're experiencing? She goes, sure. I said, so how would you describe, instead of saying I'm overwhelmed, how would you describe it? She goes, well, I don't know. There's a lot of new and different things. And she kind of smiled. I said, there you go. So for 2 weeks, she practiced, wow, there's a lot of new and different things, right? Instead of going, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stressed. Wow, there's a lot of stuff happening right now, right? Which isn't this emotionally charged space that you're coming from. 2 weeks later, fast forward, I'm in the room with her, virtual room. And I said, so what's different? She goes, oh my God, everything. I said, what do you mean? Because all she changed was the language that she used to describe what she was experiencing. And she goes, Michelle, I drive home now. And she said, I don't have to get home and tell my fiance, don't talk to me. I need to unwind. I'm engaging with people on other teams and I'm not stressed. I'm like calm. From language, Mike. That's how powerful it is.
Internal and external.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
using words that feel heavy, that don't feel great, excited, motivating, here's what it is. Change them. Change the words.
Let me give the folks like me, because God, there's too many, right? But seriously, oh well, that sounds hokey. That sounds this. That sounds that. Hey, approach this as a scientist. Here's what I found. Anybody out there like me, I'm going to go ahead and be vulnerable. What's the most manly or effective thing to really do? Kick a stray cat on your way home because you're frustrated and upset all the time, or change your mentality, experiment with different words, different things, right? It wasn't easy for me, from my upbringing, to go meet with April, right? And I mean, really, wow, right? It's like I just woke up in another country. But I'm glad I did, because it wasn't about being macho or this or that. It was about being effective. The man I am today will not be the guy who ushers in great impact tomorrow. And that's what you're all about. And it's real. It's not woo-woo fluff. You're a very grounded person. So let's get into that real quick, because mindset and strategy connection, right? They're not one or the other. And you have mastered this so well. So a lot of folks, again, me previously included, think that business problems are just about money, systems, and staff, right? All the basic business. So why do you say it often starts between the ears? Sounds obvious, but I love your take.
Because if we don't believe it's possible, it's not. I mean, it's literally that simple. I mean, how much effort, in all honesty, how much effort are you going to put into something? Brain power, energy, thought, excitement. If deep down you believe it's not possible. No, you're just going to go through the motions. You're going to check the box. You're going to check a list. You're going to do all that stuff. And then there's not anything that's going to rally. You're not going to get motivated. You're not going to influence people. You're not going to be able to remove barriers, because there's no energy around removing those barriers. None.
No. Well, let me put it in less eloquent speak, because I love your thoughts on this. It was like Usain Bolt, right? One of the fastest people on the planet. If he went to the race, but he tied a boat anchor around his waist, and that's what disbelief and all that does to us, right? Like, it's not woo-woo. It's like, okay, you have the best stuff, but you're not 100,000% sold. And also, I found that courage follows that. Like, if I'm dialed in and I give a speech now and everybody booed, I would have cried 6 months ago. I ain't gonna lie. But now I'm like, man, I must be in the wrong room. Like, whatever. And so, have you seen that phenomenon even in successful people, where they, because have you seen this across the board in all people? I mean, it doesn't mean
well. So here's the thing, right? Is that and when you said successful people, it is successful within the context of what, right?
Of business,
successful people. Well, but success to me is like obviously it's personal and how you define it. You could have financial success and not have life success.
Yeah.
Right.
Amen.
So when I think about success, I think about you're firing on all cylinders. You're abundant. You're abundant basically in every aspect of your life. Right. So, and it doesn't mean that you've got a gazillion dollars in the bank. It means that you've got enough to do what you want to do. There's freedom of choice and flexibility. You wake up in the morning and you're like, I'm excited for today. Like, I did a post recently that said, what magic are you going to create today? And it feels kind of hokey at first, but then ask yourself that question: what magic am I going to create today? And then feel the surge of energy that goes through your body at that question and the possibility of doing that. And the same thing happens with, what strategy am I going to create? What success am I going to create? Who am I going to impact? Who am I going to elevate? How am I going to make the world better? It's motivating. It's
like when we think of a lemon and then your mouth waters, right?
Yes.
Like, there's no lemon there, right? Like, you can tell I've been hanging with you and April and a lot of folks, because I want people to know it's not woo-woo weirdness. This is the foundational bedrock that can really not even expand your business. But like you said, most of us nowadays crave harmony, right? I want a good balanced life, if that's possible. Harmony makes sense. I want a good, be a good dad, be a good friend, be happy inside. And you can have it all, right? Like you're Adele over here, right? You can have it all. You
Yes.
just have to be
Yes.
coachable. And we're going to jump into this because, I just scratched the surface and I'm freestyling with you, man. Me and you were fun. Even April made a comment say, oh, Mike and Michelle together, boy, it's going to be, it's going to be fun. So real quick, I want to give a shout out to Mike King Biz Radio, ESPN. Thank you for the opportunity to push up people on an international level. We're making a great impact together, and I appreciate you, brother. And this guy, he is so loved by his community, and he's expanding as well. Imagine that. But they put him on the jumbotron when he goes to the ball games. He still blushes a little bit. But thank you for that. And folks, don't do this alone, right? No strays out there. If you have a desire to do something special, become your best self, and maybe that's in the business sector so you can have that freedom and help people, hey, look no further. Shameless plug. Find us on YouTube. Hounds of Business. I just put a funny short of me tying a tie up there. So go laugh at that minimum, right? I don't do that much. But you can find us on YouTube, Hounds of Business. You can go to LinkedIn, Mike Asherbrenner, Redneck1, or send an old school carrier pigeon. Weather pending, I still get those. So we are here with Michele Smith of Better Possibilities. If you're just tuning in, folks on the radio, thank you so much. And we're diving into, hey, how crucial of a role mindset plays, right? How we think, how we see things, how we interpret things, respond. That is not a side bonus. That is absolutely essential to not just business success, as Michele said, but harmony in life, just well-being, right? Great perspective, peaceful. And this is not woo-woo. Don't ever, that lady will get you. She's not one of those softies, all right? She's going to tell you what you need to know, all right? So how do tools like hypnotherapy, right? Lean thinking, even AI-based support, how do they all fit together to actually clear roadblocks, I'll get the word out, and unlock confidence?
Okay, so that was radically different stuff, those three things that you threw out there. So let me start with hypnotherapy in the brain and the subconscious, right? So it was funny when you were talking about, mindset and the possibilities. So I'm just going to baseline this. Our brain does not make a distinction, okay, that signals our body between what we're remembering and imagining and the reality. Which means that when you step back into like gratitude or visualizing and you step into what that thing is that you want, that you aspire to be, aspire to have, when you step in and actually feel what it feels like, who are you around? Who are you talking to? What are the sounds? What are the smells? All the stuff. You're basically telling your brain, this is reality. And when you practice it enough, then all of a sudden the negative stuff disappears about the fact that I can't possibly do that. Well, what are you talking about? You've been doing it.
Right.
So that's that part of it. When you transition over to AI, and so AI is a tool. And what I'll say is that dip your toe in the water of AI, because a lot of people that I talk to go, I've been meaning to, I'm not really sure where to start, whatever that may be. Figure out the stuff that you currently do in your process that when you think about doing it, you're like, oh man, I don't want to do that. Then look at, and I'll use my buddy is ChatGPT. You can use Claude. Yeah. There's plenty of large language models out there. Claude, ChatGPT, Grok, Perplexity, they're all out there. So you can step in and use them, okay, as a thought partner for those things that really are anchors to you and drag you down that you don't get energy from doing. And what it does, Mike, is accelerates our ability to be more creative, because all of a sudden that thing that we don't want to do and don't like doing is no longer a roadblock. You're like energized. I get energized about stuff. I didn't like writing content or like, I have a podcast and doing all that stuff. Now it's like, it's great. It's like I've got a thought partner, but chat knows my brand voice. And all of a sudden it's like the stuff before that was ours is like not ours.
Yeah.
So it's energizing.
I'm dying here because I lived it. I'm like, okay, I was cussing at it and things, and 6 months ago. Now I'm like, wow, where's this been all my life? But again, you cannot experience that if you're not have the right mindset. You're not willing to open up your horizons, become what you're not, question your limitations. And there's very few people that are very practical about this than you are. You speak the business language. You're not just, and this is what guys, this is exciting stuff. And by the way, Yeah, I look like Donkey Kong on the tie video. So if anybody, because April Wyatt said I love the tie, Mike. Yeah, I should have kept it on the whole show. But I love what you said, because again, we overcomplicate things. And when you learn how to surf on tsunamis, right, and quit wishing them away like I did, life gets better. But sometimes that takes a guide. That's why you exist, right? We don't know what we don't know. And so having a guy like you, and by the way, folks, you can go to betterpossibilities.com, check out more resources. She's got tons of it out there, and go set an appointment if you want to have that chat. See if she's a good fit. And in true fashion, true Hounds fashion, if she ain't the best fit, she'll tell you that. She'll kick you on, right? She's not going to just, yeah, she's not thirsty. Okay. Just get it real. But if you want to level up and you want to become better, happier, and just tie it together. I mean, even Olympic level athletes have coaches, multiple coaches, and that's why they're Olympic level, right? So, I had to give my 2 cents, because I cannot believe I'm sitting here going, yay to this, because I wasn't that way. So anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, right? You said this powerful take. I hope I didn't get it wrong. Burnout isn't always about the workload. What do you mean by that? Or did I get that completely wrong?
No, and I'm going to layer on something like that too. Sure. Stress is a choice. Stress is a choice. Okay. And I know people out there, no, Michelle, you don't understand, all the stuff. We have a choice whether or not we stay fight, flight, or freeze, right? Where whatever we're responding to, are we flooding our system with cortisol, or we're not able to think and move forward? Are we, flooding it to where we're going to fight the hungry tiger, we're going to run away from the hungry tiger, or we're just going to lay down and play dead so it just walks by us, right? We have a choice in that moment. And like April talks about, you've got 90 seconds of that pause to decide how you're going to respond. Reacting is the gut trigger, boom, here we go. We have ownership of that to go, you know what? That's interesting. Let's shift. April commented about the stories we tell ourselves, and we need to realize there's a story going on right now. And you don't have to know what the story is that's causing you to go into fight, flight, or response, right? I mean, a freeze. But you just need to recognize there is one that's causing this response. And then go, what else could it be? Because we don't get angry and upset, emotionally charged about what people say and do to us. We get angry and upset, emotionally charged about the story we tell ourselves as to why they're doing it or why something's happening, i.e. victim mode. When we shift out of that, then we can go, and by the way, when you practice this stuff, it just happens in seconds. It's not as long as I'm describing it to you. And then you can go and say, okay, what else do I need to know? What's a better option? What's a step forward? Because you're responding, you're not reacting.
Yeah,
so it's a choice. And the same thing with burnout. If you're in victim mode and you feel like you don't have any control of your external environment, guess what? It just gets piled on. You're at the bottom of the pile. You bury yourself. And there was a visual I had OpenAI create for me one time. It was buried in shoulds. I should do this. It should do that. It should be this way. It should be that way. And buried in should's not a pretty sight, by the way.
No, I've been there.
We have a choice.
Oh, okay. So of all that you just said there, I heard nothing. Maybe it's just me that was not reasonable, rational, logical. It's not woo-woo. So now that we understand that, and you said stress is a choice. Oh, I wouldn't have liked that. I would have been like, whatever, but now you're right. And I saw a video after I realized this and didn't have the confidence to say yes to that. And this lady on this video, very successful, she said, I don't do burnout. And I'm sitting there going, I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know you could just say, I don't do this. But what she was getting at is exactly what you just laid out. And you do it so well is, don't say, no, I don't do burnout. So what's the alternative to not have to go down that route? Because everybody's like, you're going to get burned out. Well, that's auto-suggestion. I don't want you to tell me that. Do like April and tell me how I can reframe this and work. And that's what you do so well with people, especially even company, business folks and entrepreneurs. You're so down to earth, but we have been programmed and we see things from the outside and we don't know how, correct me if I'm wrong, but how many people, maybe surprising number, who don't define success for themselves. They don't define life and vision for themselves. There's some other influence, our parents, our brothers, you know, and we're always comparing ourselves. Is that really a major issue into getting somebody on this path? Or is that just me? Maybe
So you said a lot and you asked a lot, and so I'll hit
else
on
is
the comparison game, right?
there?
So if you're comparing apples and oranges and you're comparing yourself to the outside world or some curated reality that's on social media, stop it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the only comparison game you want to do is you to yourself. How am I compared to yesterday, to an hour ago, to 10 years ago, right? So part of it too is take a look back, because a lot of people go, I'm not good at this, or I haven't gotten any better. Really? The 18-year-old self, could they do what you're doing today? With even half the ability or the outcomes that you've got? No. So give yourself credit for that. So if you want to do a comparison game, that's the one to get in. The other thing that I'll say is that a lot of times we find ourselves in this, and I joke around, it's the white rabbit in Alice in Wonderland, right? Is we're late. We don't have time. We don't have time for any of this stuff. So I'm going to say this thing, and I comment to clients too, that you're going to look at me like I've got 6 heads. There's plenty of time to get everything done that needs to be done. There's plenty of time to get everything done that needs to be done. Because not everything needs to be done today, right now, in this moment. So when you tell yourself there's plenty of time to get everything done that needs to be done, guess what happens? This wave of calm comes over you. You're no longer in fight or flight, where your brain with the creative learning centers are shut down. You're firing on all cylinders. You're the best version of you. And you can do really freaking awesome stuff.
You can. You can't. I'm like a little kid that just took the training wheels off. I'm like, am I doing this? Oh my goodness! But it started here, and boy, that was a scare. It was like the boogeyman under the bed. It was way scarier thinking about it than going through it, right? So, folks out there, listen. If you're whatever it is, your lemonade stand, being a better person, dad, mama, go reach out. Betterpossibilities.com. Right? I'm emphasizing the business because that's where I've seen her shine, because that's where we're at. But go check out the website, schedule an appointment, betterpossibilities.com, Michele Smith. And close us out here. And by the way, because I want to end on your note, because I don't want to mess it up with my isms. But folks, next Tuesday, we have Steve Ramona on of doing business with a servant's heart. Top ranked 20 podcasts in entrepreneurship, folks. It's going to be stellar. All right. Power partner with the HLB is an amazing guy. So close us out with this statement, without me messing it up. And you are fantastic. Love having you in the house, by the way, my friend.
It was a blast. Thank you. And I look forward to next week with Steve. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what am I closing out?
Here's the question. If I'm a listener, right now listening in, what's one mindset shift or one strategy that I can try this week to start seeing some immediate impact, to get that brain ready for you?
When you wake up in the morning, okay, ask yourself, basically, what magic am I going to create today? What great things are going to happen that I'm going to create? Because otherwise, if you're someone who's waking up in the morning, and I know plenty of people I've talked to, and I've been there myself, and you go, oh man, another day, here we go again. Mm-hmm. You literally just told your brain, okay, we're going to put yesterday's tape in. And your body, your brain, everything will show up that way. It is so freaking simple that all you have to do is set a different intention and ask a different question, because we just need to break the pattern. And yes, it's that simple.
But we're so used to it. It's just so uncomfortable. But you know what? And you could tell me, when I discarded comfort as one of my immediate things, it changed. I'm like, I'm not built for comfort. I'm built for a lot of other things, and comfort isn't one of them. Doesn't mean I don't want to be comfortable, but
you're not a lazy boy recliner.
Yeah. I was made to go out there and get it done, get hit, get stronger.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about you. So go out there, very down to earth lady, very high level, heart-centered professional. Thank you, Michele, for being here, sharing this. We got to have you on a panel where we can chop it up and be rowdy and have a longer time.
That would be fun.
Oh, anytime.
Anytime.
Yeah. Love having you in the Hounds. And folks, it's obvious why, right? Birds of a feather. And you came from, guess who, right? April Wyatt. Yes. So you can tap into a lot here, folks. So join us next week. Thank you, Michele. You can learn more. Go to YouTube. We'll put our links in there for you guys. And have a great day. Go out there. Courage before confidence. Go out there and look stupid if that's what it's going to take. All right. Plug into a group of people and friends support system, whether it's us or someone else. And the world needs you. We got to sit back and wonder why things don't get better, because the people like us who could do it aren't doing it. That's why we're doing this stuff together. That's why Michelle's on here. It's why we have the Hounds. So thank you all. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel. Bye-bye. Princess Way.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.